Good morning. This is a Scrapper Stash. It's Saturday. So I have a few scraps, of course. Most of it is white daisy. Things that I was cutting out before. Sheet of paper I was cutting out before, but just quickly did some bugs and the stitched florals. So the bugs came from Cute as Bug, and then the stitched florals. And then this was left over from one of my sunburst cards that I did, I don't know, last month or 2 months ago. May have been in June that I did that one. So we're going to use this. So not a whole lot of scraps today, but a very simple card. And I'm going to be I don't know if I'm coloring. I don't know if I'm going to water it, but I'm definitely going to be using the pencils. So that's probably going to take up most of the time anyway. I'm going to show you these awesome pencils. And get some coloring in. I encourage you to get some coloring in too. It's therapeutic, and really, what crafter doesn't like to color? And honestly, what person doesn't want to color, right? I mean, we all love colors. Now the bugs that I chose, let me show you the bugs. So just a little avocado green praying mantis, and you may not recognize this color, or you may recognize it. You've seen Boo Crew. Our color of the year is featured in Boo Crew, and that is a brand new color. It's called Wildberry. So I thought I'd do a sneak peek with that, especially since it's pretty much out there with Boo Crew. You guys can see it. Can't purchase it yet though. It's a pretty color. It's very closely associated with raspberry. I actually have a raspberry block stamp that I did. Those are the two side by side. They're very close. Wildberry is just a little more purple. Okay, so I'm gonna use some purples, pinks, of course green for the leaves. Pull some greens. So I'm just gonna stay to those colors. Maybe pull some yellows in. I have some yellows and oranges in my florals. Maybe an orange. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to use yet, but probably these two for one flower and one for the other. Let's start with this one. And I'm just going to stay within the stitched area for right now. And I got firm pressure. I'm going to do a little bit less pressure on the inside of that. I love these pencils because they're just so smooth. You really don't get those harsh lines that you do in like a Crayola set. Okay, let's do this one. That's going to be darker, of course, down here. Same with this one. Darker down in here. There we go. So really it doesn't take that long to color. And if you have been watching Close to My Heart's videos on their YouTube channel, Karen did one. I think she may have used stitched florals even. Can't remember which floral she used, but she may have used stitched florals. This one I'm going to color the inside purple. I'm going to do darker. I think I'm going to water this just to give it a really soft look. We'll water it afterwards. So you can either use these as pencils, only as pencils. You can use them as watercolor, so where you actually paint the tips of these and then paint it on. Or you can do what I'm doing, and I actually really like doing this, is color first and then water it. And I'm just using Daisy, so it's not like I'm doing watercolor paper. I'm sure the effect would be much more striking if it was watercolor paper, but Daisy's on hand and Daisy's a scrap, and it's just easier to use Daisy sometimes. I'm just going to turn my pencil on the side. Less streaky, smoother. And I'm going with the pedal for the most part, so I'm going up and down with the pedal. Okay, this I'm going to just do the edges and whatever I think is going to be darker. Okay, a couple more down here. Let's do the light green. Again, perma pressure right around the dark green that I just did. Give it a bit more character. And I'll blend it all in once I get the water on it. Okay, so there's these are my pencils without watercolor. The water, I think I'm just gonna get some water. I have a water brush. I don't have one of these are amazing. So I just squeeze out a little bit of water and then I brush it off to the side. And then I'm just gonna lightly go over all of my color. Now I want this purple to be really striking, so I'm gonna actually get some color on it. I want it to be darker in the middle. Okay. So there's that. And I might do the same with the pink here in a minute. Although it's doing what I want darker in the center. And if you do this in linen, instead of, I used one of the blacks. I used the archival intense black for this one. If you use linen, then it'd be like a no-show line, and the linen actually picks up the ink, and it's quite brilliant. And I have past videos on that if you'd like to see them. I know that some of them are on YouTube, some of them are on here on Facebook. I don't want to mix green and orange, so I'm just going to do all the dark stuff first. Start pulling it out. Love how the leaves turned out. They're probably my favorite. But I'm going to take the pink. Just do a little bit more pink. You can also do splatters with watercolor, which adds some visual texture, visual interest. Okay. And I think I might do that with the orange as well. A lot of the time I clean my water brush on my chamois. It's just convenient. I almost always have my chamois out. Okay, almost done. And when I'm done, I just wipe it on my mat, just to make sure that it is all clean. Now your brush does get stained. If you look at mine and it's green. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a green, almost like an army green. Green-brown of sorts. Pretty gross looking, but it is clean. It's just stained. And that's because I use a lot of green and brown, actually, and reds for flowers. Okay. So there's my pretty little design. Okay, we're going to go ahead and build this card. I'm just going to use this, but I'm going to trim it down a bit. Well, I might. Actually, I think my trimmer is outside, so we are just going to tape it, and I will trim it by hand. So thank goodness I didn't have to trim a whole lot this morning, huh? So, I'm just going to use whatever I have remaining in here, which is not much. In fact, may not be anything. I'm trying to keep these upright so that I can have some in them. I go to use them. There we go. Trying to use them up so I can get rid of them. I hate throwing away supplies that still have some life in them. Okay. Now my stencil got taken off of there for some reason, so I'm going to overlap this so that doesn't show. And I folded the card wrong, but that's okay. Nobody will know unless they watch this, right? It's for you guys. Okay, there's that. Let's get scissors, trim this down. Okay, there's that. I want this up high, and then these bugs are going to go in and out of here. I want the dragonfly kind of in the background, maybe a bit lower. And this little guy, I don't know about you, but I have a place in my heart for little praying mantis. I don't know why, they're just so neat. They're such neat bugs, and I don't like bugs usually, so it's pretty unusual for me to like a bug. But I definitely like the praying mantis. So I'm going to just layer these guys. I'm going to go ahead and prop this up with 3D foam tape first. And maybe I'll do a thicker one. I still have some left, which I usually do from Shakers. Which I do. And this, I believe, is thicker than the thin 3D foam. I think this is the thick 3D foam. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of these and just trim them down so that it fits my stem area, because I don't want my stem area just to be floating off in space somewhere. So let's get a couple of these on here. If I can. There we go. That shall work. You need the non-stick shears if you're doing this. The others, I would imagine, would stick pretty well. And I have to say I would imagine because I've never tried it. I don't own the other ones. I don't see a point in owning the other ones. Let me know if you guys own the other ones and you guys have, if you love them, if you don't use them. Let me know. Let me know what you use them for if you do use them. So maybe I do need them and I don't realize it. Right? We all need craft supplies. My little bug. I like my little praying mantis. He's so cute. Get his face first. I'll split his body. And then this guy. I want to play with him for a minute. I may have to cut a little bit of his wings off just to get them to fit in there because I have that 3D foam tape in there already. So I think that'll work pretty well. And he's just going to be flat glued. Go. Just turn just a tiny bit. I may have to trim the whole card, I don't know, to get it to fold correctly. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to put a little sentiment here. I'm going to use the same stamp set. But I'm going to put just because who doesn't like a good pun, right? And I think I'm going to do it in black. But let's get my 2x block. And we're going to do archival. Just because. I think it turned out fairly well. I think somebody will enjoy that little card. So thanks for joining me, and we will see you later. We'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good weekend. Bye.